Controlled camera movements add production value to all kinds of shots, with the most common way of adding motion being by using a slider. And when it comes to sliders, there's something really special about this one from iFootage, the Shark Slider Nano. The iFootage range of Shark sliders have gained a good reputation over the years for being smooth, easy to use and well made. The Nano joins the Shark Slider lineup by introducing a portable, affordable and easy to use motorized solution, and looking at the feature list, this could be an absolute gem. Packaged within a hard styrofoam protective carry case, easily small enough to carry with you between shoots, we find the Shark Slider Nano itself. Bear in mind we have the combo package here, which comes with the case and some extra accessories which we'll get to in just a moment, although the slider is available alone at a reduced price if you prefer. Nevertheless, a lot of the lower cost sliders are generally poorly made, but on initial inspection of the Slider Nano, I'm impressed. This thing certainly oozes quality with its aerospace grade aluminum and stainless steel construction, although considering the size you'd expect it to be very lightweight. But it does weigh in at just over 2 kilograms, still plenty light enough to easily carry around with your gear. In essence, it's as though we have two parts working seamlessly together here, a dual carriage powerful sliding mechanism on one side and a control module on the other. We'll take a closer look at the array of features as we set up the unit, but from my initial inspection the build quality is really solid, even down to the finer details such as all threads being steel reinforced for instance. I also like the way the rails and cables are placed on the inside of the body for protection, a nice added touch. Rubberized feet on the bottom of each corner provide ample grip, with 2 feet on one side being adjustable by way of a small thumb dial, raising or lowering the feet to ensure all 4 corners are firmly planted. We even have a handy bubble level on the upper carriage to ensure the slider is completely level. Just above this we find a red knob that can be rotated and locks the carriages into position, great for securing the entire carriage assembly during transportation in a backpack for instance, although always ensure this is unlocked when setting up and certainly before powering on in order to avoid any damage to the assembly and the main motor. Moving on to the upper carriage then, where we find the main 3/8 inch mounting screw for attaching your camera or your gear. This is spring-loaded and contains a standard 1/4 inch mounting screw inside, a nice added touch. This all sits on a rotating platform, in essence a motor used for electronically panning the camera as the carriage slides along its rails. Although this can be temporarily locked by pressing on the red lever just below so that you can securely attach or remove your gear. On the opposite side is a rotating dial used for tension adjustment control, which should be adjusted to ensure there's no movement or wiggle room on the carriage itself, since any movement here would ruin an otherwise smooth shot. Finally, on the side of the carriage you'll find another 1/4 inch 20 thread, handy for attaching a small monitor arm or other accessories, along with a shutter control port, which can be used with one of the 5 shutter cables included in the package to attach to your camera, with support for a range of different camera models. The upper carriage connects to the belt neatly contained within and attaches to the lower carriage. Again, we find another tension control adjustment dial for this carriage, as well as 3/8 and 1/4 inch threads, again all metal, for attaching to a tripod. Since this carriage moves in the opposite direction to the upper unit, it in effect doubles the sliding distance when attached to a tripod. A rather ingenious design which we'll come back to and demonstrate in just a moment. This leaves us with the main control module. On the outside, we have a small touchscreen display, along with 2 control buttons just beneath. On the inside, we have a powerful, yet very silent motor driving the belt, which in turn moves the carriages. Controlling this is an intelligent chipset providing a stable and reliable algorithm to protect the mount from collisions by sensing the start and end points in order to avoid them. It's all clever stuff. This is all powered from a single Sony NPF type battery, which clips neatly into the side of the control module. The F750 supplied with the combo kit provides around 4 hours of usage, plenty enough for a slider of this style, although higher capacity batteries are available of course should you find the need. The battery can be charged while connected to the system via the single USB-C port found just under the control module. There's no way of powering the slider directly off the mains power. However, if you have the battery attached and the slider is turned on, you can attach a USB-C power source that will charge the battery and keep it powered. All in all, when it comes to build quality and design, I honestly have very little, if anything, to complain about. It's really very impressive given its compact size. Note that if the slider is used as we have here in its tabletop position, we have around 200mm of travel distance. Alternatively, thanks to the metal threads built into the bottom carriage, the entire unit can mount on a tripod instead. You will want a good quality sturdy tripod of course, and I'm using the high quality iFootage Gazelle series in this example, which has a nice wide base and even the option of spiked feet for added security. With that easy to remove base, we can securely attach the slider and reseat back onto the tripod in order to secure back into position. So with the slider attached securely to the top where it sits very firm, you now instantly double the travel distance to roughly 400mm, since the entire slider moves across the now stationary bottom carriage, a rather ingenious design. And if you're after a vertical slide, you can even mount the entire slider vertically thanks to the 3/8" thread located in the end of the structure too, although of course you're again limited to the 200mm travel distance in this configuration. Nevertheless, back to our desktop configuration for a moment. Getting a camera installed is nice and easy too. Of course, compact and DSLR cameras are supported, although you can even mount your smartphone with the included smartphone mount. A really nice mount at that. Whichever you choose though, you could screw your camera directly to the mounting point in the top carriage, but I would personally recommend a tripod head instead since it'll provide some added tilt flexibility when positioning your camera. I'm using the iFootage Komodo K5 here, a beautifully crafted, portable and well balanced fluid head which complements the slider nicely. This screws directly into the top of the slider, holding that lock button on the side of course in order to lock the panning motor and allowing us to achieve a nice tight connection. Finally, we can move the top quick release plate in order to attach a camera. Now the trick here is to balance everything that connects to the top of the slider as much as possible. The Komodo K5 head is already well balanced, so with the quick release plate connected to the camera, find the balance point by using something like a pencil before noting the balance point on the side and attaching to the head. You may not get it perfect, but getting as close as possible will provide the smoothest capture. Note in this desktop configuration, the slider can carry loads of up to 3.5 kilograms, which is rather impressive for a unit of this size. Now that does drop to a 2.5 kilo payload with a tripod mounted configuration and 2 kilos if used vertically. We're ready to power up now, and upon pressing the power button, the system will quickly calibrate itself and ready the carriages in their start positions. It's surprisingly nice and smooth, and from here we can set the camera to its correct orientation and confirm, after which we're ready to go. There's even an accompanying app called iFootage Moco for iOS and Android devices, which can be used to update the firmware and control the slider's functions. In smartphone mode, the app controls the slider and acts as the camera at the same time, for times when you're using the smartphone as your main camera too. In camera mode, the phone only controls the slider, since a separate camera obviously does the filming. The interface for the app is fairly basic, but it is reasonably well laid out so you can see all of the adjustments you can make. It also changes view slightly depending on whether you're in video mode, time-lapse mode, or stop motion mode. But it's all still very intuitive and easy to grasp, and on top of that it was perfectly reliable throughout testing too, providing the ability to control all aspects of the slider with no problems there at all. The great thing about the Nano though is that you can also control it via its built-in touch screen. The main menu interface is fairly straightforward too. You just choose video, time-lapse, stop motion or settings depending on what you want to do. The quick start menu is of course the fastest way to get started with a straightforward slide. This lets you frame the start of the shot quickly by sliding and panning the camera accordingly, then lining up the next shot manually, and touching B to confirm. You can reverse the start and end points and continuously loop, as well as set the motion duration. After which you can hit start and the slider executes the move. It really is as simple as that. The display will show exactly where the slider is in relation to points A and B during its move, It will also tell you how many seconds into the move it is and how long the total move will take. Otherwise, you can sit back and your camera will slide and pan simultaneously, creating your ultra smooth shot. There's no tilting, of course, and even though the Komodo head does come with a tilt arm, I wouldn't recommend trying to manually tilt as the slider works. Not only will you add vibration and spoil the smoothness of the shot, it'll add unnecessary stress on the motors too. Also notice how the sliding action slows down to a stop before reversing in order to continue that overall smooth motion. Beautiful! Nevertheless, throughout use, the Shark Nano continued to perform exceptionally well. The controllable pan axis gives you many creative options, including keeping an object centered while sliding. Perfect for product shots or even interview scenarios, using a tripod to get the most length available, of course. When it comes to noise, motorized sliders all inherently make some amount of noise. But saying that, although the Shark Slider Nano is relatively quiet as far as motorized sliders are concerned, you're not going to get completely silent operation. In saying that, unless you are in a very quiet room, I doubt you will notice any noise at all. It's certainly one of the quietest sliders I've ever used. Tested with both smartphones and cameras, the footage was consistent in terms of stability and smoothness. Carriage adjustment was very easy and it performed great in all three modes: desktop, vertical and tripod. No issues there at all. Once dialed in and with the appropriate time set for the entire motion, the small, versatile product can shoot some exciting footage. Filmmakers will have some difficulty portraying the sense of movement because of its short sliding length, but it's been great for me. It shoots exceptional buttery smooth footage of products, for instance, my personal ideal usage scenario. In summary then, the iFootage Shark Slider Nano performs as advertised and I found it to be a well-made and thought-out product. Having the onboard touchscreen control means you don't really need to fiddle about using apps, even though there is one available should you prefer to do so, and once you have the slider configured, it's really easy to use and operate, meaning you can achieve good quality shots where both the slider moves and pans at the same time quickly and easily. When used in conjunction with the iFootage Gazelle tripod and the Komodo K5 head, you get a really good combination. It allows you to use the slider at a variety of heights and also on uneven surfaces indoors if you prefer, providing a solid base and an overall fantastic setup. Most importantly though, the Shark Slider Nano is relatively quiet and is very smooth the majority of the time. It doesn't stutter down the track like some other motorized sliders I've previously used. This all comes together to make the Shark Nano a well-rounded package. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's probably one of the best motorized sliders I have used so far, making it very easy to recommend.